look at what we have here. This is my nephew, the dog. But his name is really Lucky. He's visiting today, aren't you? He's a good boy. He's camera shy. Lucky, say hi. He sees himself in there. He's going to join us for the video. And if you ever hear barking, it's because Lucky has come to visit me, because you like to bark when I make videos, huh? Now see, this is clickbait right here. Cute dog destroys man's stony heart. Oh, I don't care if you bark, bud. Okay. You want to go down? You look nervous. All right, there we go. Look at you down. He looks like he's going to barf or something. Anyways, selvala. Heart of the wild. We've got questions. I've got answers. No, we don't have questions. You have questions. They, them. The internet. So, okay. Selvala. Let's answer them. Let's get right into it here. So, in my email. All right. Lizards of the Toast at yahoo.com. All one. One. Wino crater hoof? Question mark. Well, good question. Crater hoof's casting cost is high, and it is also redundant. I like Pathbreaker Ibex in there instead, and because of our X cost dump creatures, like you see in Selvala how I dump my X costs into the Hydras, and I think a couple elves. One elf has an X cost, I know, and there's another X something. So the X costs are dumped, and then we have Triumph of the Horde. So coupled with Triumph for the Horde and Finale of Devastation, we're going that route. Because this isn't like create like infinite tokens and then send in the 1/1s, you know. I mean, if it was like a bunch of Sapperling token generating things, like I think like a deck that would create like an army of like 1/1s, then, you know, beef each of those up. I think Craterhoof is great in that. And I did run Craterhoof in this, but I just ended up taking it out because the redundancy, it was almost like overkill. And when you would storm the board and play your deck, it'd be like obnoxious, you know? So, the Triumph of the Hordes and Finale of Devastation, you know, why be a Goomba, right? You know, storm the board and be like this guy that does that. So no Craterhoof, because I'd rather have anything in my deck but Craterhoof, to be honest. There's nothing in Selvala right now that Craterhoof would come out for. Not a thing. So that's why. It's just redundant. Has no... Oh, what? Okay, I did not see this. I'm glad of this. All right. Why are there no Birds of Paradise but other expensive cards? It's a mono green deck. The best fast mana in a mono deck is a basic land. Am I wrong? I mean, come on. Guys, that's a basic one. Birds of Paradise, why? It's not an elf. We got like an elf thing going on for the funds. And a couple other reasons, I guess, but mostly for the funds. And yeah, I mean, who cares about expensive cards? We like good cards here. Let's see here. Why run the Ulvenweld Oddity? Do you like it? Question mark. Seems kind of Timmy and dumb. Question mark. Seems Timmy and dumb. Timmy and dumb with a question mark. That's not a question, sir. That's a statement. So you are the dummy. And it doesn't seem dumb because Ulvenweld Oddity is a haste enabler. So when you transform Ulvenweld Oddity, so when you play it, let's say you're playing your thing, let's say you're doing your thing, you play Ulvenweld Oddity, and you transform it, because you can do that, transform it, it gives all of your things haste. So whether we do some kind of like Beast Storm, whether we bring out our deck, whatever we do, when we transform Ulvenweld Oddity, it enables haste on all of our green creatures. Man, that's why. Dumb? Oh, I love it. Bless your heart. Bless your heart, like they say in the cell. Oh, bless your heart. I must be the dumbest Timmy Dumb for running that wonderful haste enabler in my infinite mana production, which also gives all my things trample. Oh, what a dum-dum. And this is why I love this format. Okay, what? This has got to be from the same person. This deck is a joke. Why not run Marwyn instead? I don't even run Marwyn in the deck, man. And I got a bunch of elves. She's too slow. Marwyn is Marwyn's a good card. Marwyn's awesome. There's infinite mana combos. In fact, one of the best Matt Caster Mage showed one of the best infinite mana combos with Marwyn the Nurture. But it's not a joke. My deck's not a joke. Come on, man, be nice. Jeez. And I don't run Marwyn because I run Selvala. I like Selvala. I like what she does. She's faster for me. Faster. Like a jet plane. That's why. Jeez. All right. Why do you not run Phyrexian Dreadnought? That's a good question. And I have an answer for that. You guys are going to hate me for this, but I play this deck in somewhat like high-tier casual formats. Or, high tier. So if I go to like a game store and play like where they're not like CEDH, but they're like, okay, it's high level, and you see like a Dragon and like a Kalia, with angels, demons, and dragons in the tune of like 40 creatures, then I bust this out. So I don't run Phyrexian Dreadnought because if I ran that in here, again, it's just like Jeweled Lotus. I stopped running Jeweled Lotus in here because getting her out turn one, it's got to be nerfed a little. And it doesn't even nerf it that much. I mean, I don't miss the Lotus in this deck. It's weird, like, you'd think in like a 3-color commander deck, like Kalia or something, that Jeweled Lotus would be like, in monocolor, you'd think like it'd be stronger. But, man, the Lotus is strong in any color. It really is. I'd recommend, I wish it needs a reprint or something, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But anyways, where were we? Okay. Oh, okay, here we go. I bet I know who sent this. Jeffrey and the questions. All right, why no Greaves, ? Or other rocks like Arcane Signet, Emerald Medallion, etc., etc., etc. Okay, again, Greaves, the haste enabler. You know what? Greaves might be okay in this deck. But, again, it's taken the place of something that otherwise need not take the place of. So, no Greaves because it's too slow even. I don't know. Like, I've used it. It's not... it would work. Like, there's no reason not to run Lightning Greaves in this deck. I'll just end it there. I don't run it in this deck. I definitely have a place for it. If I were to run it, it's just that 2 mana to get out and equip it. Like, that 2 mana, man, is just too much. Like, I know it sounds crazy because usually 3 mana is like my artifact cutoff for, my fast movers. But, no, it doesn't do enough for me, is what I'm saying. I don't know. Just me. And then Arcane Signet is going to give us a color in our commander's color identity, and it's 2 mana to bring out. We have something to do that for us, and that's a basic land. So we can get that 1 mana on our commander's color identity without Arcane Signet. So if we can cut that artifact. So that's why I don't run that. But it's a good question. Arcane Signet is like a standard where people say like this should be in every commander deck. Well, monocolored, unless it's like artifact centric, I don't see it. And then the Emerald, another good question. I have ran Emerald from time to time, popped it in, popped it out, and it just doesn't do much for us. It's not that important to give us like 1 extra on our X cost. It's not that important because of our low mana cost creatures, like being mainly elves, for 1 and 2 mana. It's just not, and also being able to quickly like generate untap effects and infinite mana. Definitely just not something. Why no Great Henge? ? Okay, why no Great Henge? Great Henge, when I was opening that, a lot of Throne of Eldraine, I opened a few Great Henge, and I got rid of my last one maybe like 8 months ago. And again, like in this deck, I just don't feel it's necessary. And I also think like a little pretentious in the sense of like being overkill in the deck. Like, do you really need Great Henge when you're generating this? And I don't know. It could go in there though. Just, to keep this deck, they can't all be like full of very expensive cards. And if we were, then they'd have no value. Like the man who has everything, like builds the best deck in the world, the most expensive, like then the game loses meaning, right? So, um, could this deck be built for cheap? Oh, excellent! This is crazy, man. I swear I did not read these, but this is so funny because I was just gonna make a statement. This is nuts. So, could this deck be built for cheap but still be good? Yes, absolutely. And in CEDH, Selvala tends to be of like the most budget and beginner friendly of CEDH, like get in there. But she's a great springboard, certainly. So yeah, let me think here. What could you honestly like? I think like if you look at my deck list, that is the budget version. If you just take away all the foiling, all the different cards, and just run the basics, get all, very good condition. I don't see why that would run you more than like $300. And then, if you want to go in for the great hinge and throw the greaves in there and do your own thing too, because I'm not nobody can be an expert at like these kind of things like this. We can know as much as we can figure out, but one person's trash is another's treasure, as it were. All right, so what did? Oh, here we go. Okay, it seems like you foil out your decks. Why? Well, I don't like to have cards in binders. I don't collect cards. I like older foil lands. I like full art, non-foil cards. And then I like foiled versions that are like low runs. So if there's like a low run of a certain foiling, that's something I like to collect. And if you look at my decks, these decks are made up of my collected cards. So if I was to show my collection in a binder, I'd actually like take my decks apart, and the versions of even like not expensive cards, like you'll see like in modern decks I build, it'll be like a foil common, and people are like, why the foil? Well, if it is a common and it's in a foil, it's because there was a limited run. Like, not all commons that are foils are made into, foil. There's different numbers of runs. So I like to collect like the scarcer versions, and not being somebody that fills a binder for a collection, but actually uses them. And I've never had an issue with curvature or anything like that. Where somebody says, "Oh, look at that." I keep my decks nice and tight, double sleeved, so never an issue. And the last question: would you run this in a tournament? And yes, I absolutely would. I've done some fun online things with this deck, particularly, just as I have Kalia, and like Kalia, out of 50 games, Kalia won 28 games. Out of 50 games, this deck actually won 32 games. Is Kalia a stronger deck? I like to think so, because like that's where the bulk of like my cool and expensive cards are. But Selvala is tough, and when I played Selvala, Kalia, and then we have guests or something, and we get a couple other decks in there equally competitive, it does seem like Selvala like very quickly gets out of control. And then like Kalia is more of like a like go like balls to wall. But yeah, I'd totally run. Almost like if I had to pick, I think I'd put Jeweled Lotus and some fast mana in Selvala, and I'd run Selvala at a tournament over Kalia, actually. Oh, it's hard to say, but yeah, I think I would. I mean, it's hard to say. It's not hard to decide. It's easy to decide. I'd put my fast mana rocks inside of Selvala, and I'd use Selvala in a tournament. There you have it. And keep those questions coming. So, lizardsofthetoast@yahoo.com. And you can be mean to me, I don't mind. I like to think I'm a good person, so maybe be nice. But I'm happy to answer your questions, and I only wish that all my viewers, we could all get together and have some great time, play some Magic for a whole weekend, and do some big event someday. because I just love playing this dang game, man. Well, you guys have a good one, and I appreciate the questions, even the mean ones. So enjoy the game, and again, be creative and be nice to each other, even being badly.